covering all the news from every dark corner of the universe. SliceofSci-Fi.com.
Hey, welcome everyone to a special Slice of Sci-Fi. I'm Michael Armenenge.
I am Brian Brown.
I'm Sam Roberts.
And I'm Megan Zier.
Or Elbow.
Or Elbow.
Or Elbow.
Whatever.
Or Buttock.
Depending on what
Depending
alternate universe you're in.
Yeah.
Right?
So we promised this a long time ago that we're going to do this, and we're going to talk about Fringe, the finale. We all just sat down and watched both episodes back to back.
Just minutes ago, we walked out and went, oh my God, what the hell was that?
Boy, where to start?
So first of all, in case you didn't already know, we will be spoiling it. So if you haven't already seen it and care, stop now.
Mike, roll the dumbass alert.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. You have been warned.
Excellent.
There you go.
There you
So
go.
now you have no excuses.
Can't get angry.
Don't send
get
us
angry.
hate mail, please.
I mean, you can always send Brian hate mail,
send me
but
hate
not
mail. That's fine.
specifically.
It's all right.
Yeah,
yes.
but make sure it's about the right thing.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, wow, where to start?
Oh my
I don't
God,
know.
where to start? This season has just been unbelievable. It is so good, and I am going to so miss this show. I cannot believe the roller coaster ride that we've been on. Starting out with this season with them jumping into the future, which was like
Oh, my goodness.
burnt. What? Wait a minute. Wow, moving my cheese to get us,
Right.
throwing us clear in there, and it's like, okay, this is just like the reset that happened, the 2 seasons ago, whatever it was. But what a ride!
I mean, it all circled back around, right?
Oh.
And it was really emotional for me. I expected
me
it to be
too.
a little emotional, but but I'm Robot Sam, and it was more emotional than I expected.
For me, I mean, it solidified the themes that I think we've really seen throughout Fringe, but we really don't see them. It's about a father and a son.
Right.
It's about the people.
It's really about their relationship, because really, when you think back on it, I was thinking back about season one, I'm like, it all just wraps around Walter and Peter.
It's their arc,
It
right?
is.
Yes.
And it's also
Exactly.
about sacrifice, right?
Right.
That's the other recurring theme there. Is
For
what
your-
you'll
for your
do
children.
for your
children specifically, and the links you'll go to make that connection with your child, I think, is also
Right,
as well,
exactly.
because we see it with the very end with September,
Right.
how he
I know.
wants to make the connection with Michael. And that is he finally realizes that after all this time that he's really become human. I mean,
Yeah.
period, and end of statement. I mean, he really has at this point. And by the way, September with hair, freaky.
I could
know.
never get used to it.
So, and I think that's really the central theme is really relationships with fathers and sons is the primary thing, I think. And that you're right. It's Peter's and Walter's arc throughout the whole thing. And you don't really get that, And, Olivia and all the rest of them definitely play parts, but I think it's really about Peter and Walter.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we had lots of speculations before this, the finale here. Where are they going to reset it to? Are they going to go all the way back and actually reset the rift that started the whole thing? There was a lot of talk that maybe they'd actually just go back and where Peter got in the machine, maybe reset from that point. So that would actually be the break point that moves him on. He jumps in the machine and something fails, and they just realize. They just don't know what happened, but they're go on their normal timeline instead of that whole arc going. There's a lot of places that they decided they could have gone with it. I thought it was interesting where they decided to go back to.
And they set it up for that too. That's the thing. They're like, okay, this is.
They telegraphed it.
Yeah, they telegraphed it. They're like, really, we have to go back to this point in time to make things right, so to speak. And this is the breaking point, and this is where we need to go back to in time. So I think they really did that, and that. Us thinking that we're going to go farther back is really a red herring. That they kind of floated it out there that maybe, but
I think it was shocking. They said what they were going to do, and then
And
that's
it did.
exactly what
They actually did.
But
And the
yet
whole
it
time
was
you're like, nuh-uh.
suspenseful, right? Like you really didn't know because
Yeah.
they've proven that they'll do that to us. They'll yank it out from
Exactly.
under you.
Wasn't that the brilliant part of this though? Because the entire time we were watching, right up till the final half hour, it's like, where's the left turn going to happen?
I know.
Where's the left turn going to happen? And wasn't it more shocking that they actually
They
went,
did what they said.
did what they
Yes,
said,
exactly.
then didn't throw some curveball at us
Exactly,
at the
right?
last minute?
7 minutes left in the last episode, and I'm like, where's the curve?
Yeah.
Exactly.
When's it going to happen?
Yeah. And then, there's us on the couch. You could hear us like all four of us going, oh, yeah.
Yes.
And then like biting our nails like, oh my God, what's going on?
yeah.
It was,
They didn't-
tense.
Oh yeah, and the fact that that Broyles escapes it in the end.
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
I thought he
know.
was toast.
I thought he was
I
toast.
was prepared for him to die, and I was going to be sad about it.
And I was
Absolutely.
thinking, because Nina dies, and I was
Yep.
thinking that it's only
Oh,
fitting
Nina.
that
Sorry.
Broyles does too as
Yeah,
well.
no, I like that he lived because he kicked the bucket so early on in the alternate world, right?
True.
And that made me sad. So I was happy for.
Yeah,
for
we were
our
laughing
Royals to
about it.
go.
We're like, sure, they're going to kill the black man. Seriously, they're going to kill the black man by the
whitest people possible.
Whitest people possible.
Right?
Way
like
to go.
aggressively white,
Yeah.
like
No kidding.
observer types. Yeah,
Oh, and it didn't happen, and we're like, woohoo!
thank goodness.
Thank goodness.
Black man lives.
The black man lives, and that's awesome.
And Astrid lived.
Yeah,
and
and
the black
Astrid.
man
Astrid.
and the black woman.
Right?
And I liked how Astrid and Walter's last thing. And I
yes,
see I
that's the
understand-
part
was
that almost
so
brought me to
sad.
tears.
Yeah, because
what was it you said, Megan? I tweeted it. Oh my gosh, the cow's gonna make me
I know.
cry.
Right,
The
yeah.
cow,
Yeah,
I swear. Just that
truly.
cow in the amber. And I'm like, keep it together. You're in front of 3 other people.
no, I think it was very. The last two episodes were very emotional, and really, if you go even past that, I mean, the last 4 or 5
Nina's
episodes.
episode, I broke down completely.
Oh,
Like, I was
I
by
know.
myself, so I'm like sobbing.
Yeah.
Nina's my favorite. And it's just,
Yeah, so I think they've really set this up to be that it's going to be a very emotional end of a season, and it's not going to be just a boom, there it is, and you're not going to feel connected to all of
Because
it.
it has to be satisfying.
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
Like, and a happy ending is not necessarily always satisfying. It has to be how you get there and how you achieve it,
Yeah, you have
right?
to earn it.
But I think there was a nice balance between the emotional and then the throwbacks and the shout outs to some of the highlights of the show and things we loved.
Absolutely.
Like every bad thing that ever happened.
Like all the Fringe events,
Yeah.
like Unleashed on the Observers. Woohoo!
I love that. It was just like Brian said during it. It was like it was
greatest
just
hits of
it was
Fringe.
the greatest hits of
Yes.
Fringe. We got this little montage down the hallway as
Yeah.
they walk down the hallway. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, remember this episode? Remember this episode? Oh, remember this? Oh, remember this? It's like, oh,
And
cool.
what was it Megan said? Like all the stuff we've been grossed out about for the
Yeah.
last
Exactly.
years. Like,
And we're
all the-
cheering, we're
all
like,
the
yeah!
disgusting in one hallway.
it's like, whoa, 5 years of crap blowing up out of your body.
And Megan's like, don't explode. And the guy just explodes.
Shoots
and
out
we're
his
like,
tummy.
wow,
That was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it really did. And that last half hour really was just like bam, bam, bam. The punches kept coming.
I think it hit all the notes that we really wanted. Does anybody feel like there was anything missing, an explanation
No,
or
'cause-
something
Yeah.
we didn't get? I don't.
I have one critical point. If
Okay.
there was anything that I had to say that was wrong about this episode, not enough Super Olivia.
Yes, thank you.
Needed more Super Olivia.
was so
I
awesome.
love what they did with her, and that one little bit was awesome, but more would have been better.
And I think the reason they did that is because she's been out of it for so long, and that's what they kind of said. Well, she doesn't really have super right then and there, but it happened at the critical
It did.
juncture.
And when
that's
she's
what did it.
emotional, when it's
Yeah.
like really,
Yeah.
but also the other thing is I think they were right with that because you couldn't
Yeah.
turn it into X-Men with Olivia
Yeah,
being
it
the
can't just
X-Men.
be what you want.
Right?
It has
had
to be what's real. Yeah.
right.
What,
It had
real.
to, yeah.
I'm sorry.
Real. It's real to us.
Real,
It's
okay.
real to us.
Yeah.
Real.
Or
Yeah.
actually, I liked that it was a different emotion that set her off this time, which it wasn't like fear. Or it might have been fear that she wouldn't get her daughter back. But it's always been like fear for like her life or like the life of others. But this time it was like,
Whoa.
I'm
Anger.
ticked off
It
with
was
you
the
right
parent-
now.
Actually-
and I'm
The
going to tick you
parent-child
off.
thing
Yeah.
again, also, right?
Actually, I just got that. That's actually what that was. That's the symbolism of that, of her seeing that and realizing that if this doesn't happen, she won't get her daughter
Oh, yeah.
back.
Yeah.
And
Oh, no.
that was actually the emotion that triggered it.
That
I
was a
guess I missed
catalyst,
that.
and
Yeah.
anger, and as well
Yeah.
as
Yeah,
a
it wasn't
fear.
just the fear.
Yeah, because fear has always been the driving factor
Right.
for her.
But this time there was like a determination behind it.
Determination and anger, and
Wow.
and then squish.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, can we talk about Windmark? What a great bad guy.
Oh, he is
Oh,
awesome.
truly.
And his moment where he admits to hate, right?
Exactly.
Was that was powerful.
It was, and the actor, I don't know who he is.
No, but he's
good.
so good.
He was really good. Actually, all the observers they kind of picked, even the head observer guy, creepy. And like Sam said, man, that's quite the nose on that guy when he turns to the side. And
Exactly.
He has nostrils the size of the Grand Canyon. And I enjoy a good schnoz, but that was
and he was
that
great.
scary.
I mean, that was one of his big features. You're like, wow, cratery nose guy.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but I mean, and you think about that. Even the observers had their own arc, but also their look about them. They weren't nearly all quite identical because Windmark looked different than others, and the beaky guy was kind of kind of cratery nose. Michael, freckles everywhere.
Yeah.
Obviously a ginger kid, that's for sure. No ifs, ands, or buts there, but I mean, and every one of them had a slightly different look. And do you notice that some of them had really kind of funky accents too?
Yeah.
I noticed that too.
Yeah.
I'm like, wonder where they getting the
I
observer
like-
extras.
I liked the brief glimpses we saw into the future and how they operate a bit more, right? Just in the
Right.
last 3-4 episodes, we kind of saw that, and that was really interesting. I thought it was enough without explaining observers and making them boring.
Yeah,
right?
just-
They didn't midichlorian it.
Just
but,
seeing
but it was cool glimpse.
just seeing the very institutional and very dry and very clean environment that they live in, and there's really nothing there for beauty or art
Right.
or any of the
It's drab and gray and
Drab and
polluted.
gray.
Because
and-
there's no emotional attachment to anything.
Exactly.
So why, it's all functional, it's all efficient, it's all terrifying.
And then-
oh my goodness.
But then what I liked about it is because you have Windmark and you have September and you have who's the one? December.
December.
Yeah.
And how they get infected by humanity or whatever. So you can still see how they are human, and so you can see how we might get there
right.
to that place, and I think that makes them more real.
You know what it just made me think of? The Matrix, because I've been seeing it on cable a lot lately. And that whole speech by Agent Smith when he's got Morpheus, and he's
it's
like...
the smell.
The smell,
He
yes.
talks about humans like a disease.
and how it permeates him. And the smells
So
everywhere.
that's like a concept, sort of. I mean, I don't think there's a ripoff here. It's just kind of associated with like the idea that human emotions,
humanity is contagious.
because it affected
Which is a real
Agent Smith in
sci-fi
that.
thing.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's true.
Very
That's
much
the one thing that makes us unique is that our humanity. And that's what, a lot of sci-fi, they kind of play off that. Even
Star Trek.
Battlefield Earth.
Oh yeah, true.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
seriously.
Yeah.
I mean,
No, you're right. Yeah.
It's a common theme in a lot of sci-fi, I think, and
And it's explored really well here.
yeah, dude, this and satisfying ending. Really, seriously. I mean,
Yes.
the fact is, you go, I'm sad, but do you know what? It was a great journey, and the way the journey was laid out, some stumbles. We know this because, and I want to go back and rewatch the first season to see how bad it was. Maybe it was just the way that we were watching it.
Rewatching it, I watched. Brett watched it because he'd never seen it before. He started in second season, and I rewatched some of it with him, not the whole thing, and I loved it.
Yeah,
it's great.
because knowing the arc and knowing where they were going, you see all the seeds they're planting early
Okay.
on, and it's I think much better.
Well,
and
they-
because I'm already emotionally attached to the characters, I
Right.
wasn't initially emotionally attached to.
They've actually been replaying it on Science Channel,
Yeah.
and I catch it there every now and then. I'll catch an episode, and it's like, wow, you really notice the observers now because they're such an integral part. You see them in the background. It's like, oh, there's one, and it's like you're not really looking for them, but boy, your attention's drawn to them now. Before it was we totally ignored them, we missed them, we didn't see them. Now we're so used to seeing them, you can't help but not see them in the background on these episodes. And wow, it's just a brilliant series all the way around.
So let's talk about the thing that I know some people are bitching about a little bit online because I've been looking, and that makes my head hurt. So perhaps you can help me, which is that if they made the observers never exist by sending
There's a lot
Michael
of time.
through, then why would the time reset to where it did, like with that, on the day the observers alleged? Because wouldn't it have reset back to like when
Because they've
the
been coming
observers
through time
accidentally
so
interfered
often.
with the curing of Peter? Wouldn't it have reset like to way back there?
No.
But
it's
they would have still. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, they're not. They didn't actually get rid of the observers. That's the thing. The observers still exist,
Okay.
But
Yeah.
with emotion.
With emotion.
with emotions, which means that they did not invade or take over the
Yes.
Earth, which is why it resets to that point, because that's the point where the observers actually showed up for the first time and took over.
En masse, right?
En
So
masse.
what we're saying is what probably happened, especially with Michael and Walter in the future having knowledge, is that the observers still sent, say, the 12 back,
Right.
The monks.
Okay.
They
And
sent them
so
back.
some of that stuff still happened. Like maybe Walter knew to somehow get information to protect the timeline. I don't know. But I'm saying, like, some people were like, no, it wouldn't have reset to that time. And I don't think about like time travel stuff very well. My brain doesn't process it right. So you say it's logical and believable, no problems there.
It makes more sense to me. I mean, yeah, the argument could be that the observers were, that they wouldn't have ever sent them back, but why wouldn't they have? I mean, where's the argument for that there wouldn't be any observers? I mean, how are they justifying that argument? That's my big
the
thing.
observers are there, but they're not trying to take over the entire
they're
world.
still observing and possibly
Exactly.
not manipulating, because they already know the emotional piece of it, and that they don't have to change humanity. They know that humanity is just going to change this way, and they're just really kind of
at least
watching on things.
that's what makes it
It
work
makes
in my
sense to me in
brain.
my brain.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's
So the-
plausible, is what you're saying.
Yes,
so
exactly.
the assumption is that they're still observers, like Michael was still an observer,
Yes.
but they have emotions. So they did all the same stuff they did, but they're not going to be dicks
They weren't
about
dicks
it.
about it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Yeah.
kind of, I can see that. I'm like, really? Okay, that's a lot of assumptions. But, okay,
Well,
okay.
I mean, that's the way it works.
I'll
and
accept
I
it.
think that works as far as an explanation goes. I mean,
I'll accept it, yeah.
Unless you have something better to say about it, that
Exactly.
there's a reason why they would change or things would be differently. I mean, come on, positive theories. I'm sure there's going to be tons of them online.
yeah, yeah.
People
Oh,
are
yeah.
going to be like, actually, well, the problem is that in season 3,
Okay.
there's going to be those armchair
and
quarterbacks.
you could go down this rabbit hole and basically dissect every single episode and everything, and I'm sure they will.
I'm sure there's
I'm
Fringe
sure that it's
podcasts out
already
there, yeah.
happening. So this is not going to be one of those shows.
Because we're head over heels.
I also love the fact that they got the red matter in there.
Right?
I know. I
Brilliant.
love that. I know he starts mixing it up. It's like he's making red matter. Oh my god!
Exactly.
Yeah, I was thinking Jim Jones Kool-Aid myself, but that's just me.
Well,
you know?
that was purple actually.
Well, I know it was. It was Flavor Aid. So.
And 513 on the door, did we decide that was the season and episode?
I think that's the episode number.
It could be.
Because
Yeah.
the shot lingered when the door shut when September went to visit December on 513, and we thought that was significant. And
Because
Megan figured it out.
Because
Yeah.
I looked it up and I was like, Fringe 513 on my phone, and it came up. The episode number was 513.
Okay.
Season
clever.
5, episode 13.
That's cool.
That is a pretty neat little
I
nod.
think
So.
this is one of those shows
Lots
with
of
a
them.
lot of those little touches, right? That
Wow.
really make it extra
Well,
special
and-
for nerds like us.
And let's talk about the Folivia and
Oh, I know
Yes!
that was so cool.
yeah, and Lincoln Lee now.
and the great aging they did.
Yes.
Right? That was
and I loved Folivia's hair, how they feathered it slightly, and
I
then
know.
the
Streak.
streak
It
of gray.
made her face so round.
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
what was that really shocked me. It's like at first I thought, wow, did they get a stand-in for her, because the hairstyle just totally
changed it.
changed her face, and it's like, oh, okay, this is older.
They might have put some
Olivia.
prosthetics in there too, possibly to
Could've.
pad it.
It didn't look like a lot though.
No, they,
not a lot.
they
It was
just
very
subtle.
subtle.
wrinkles, and same with Lincoln Lee. You know,
Little bit of face lines
Yeah,
and some
so,
gray.
yeah.
But that was part of them hitting all the right notes, like all the things we wanted them to kind of
Touch on.
nod to,
Yes.
right? Folivia and Lincoln and what happened to them.
oh, they have
and
kid. They have a boy now. It's like,
Walternate is like 90 and retired and teaching at Harvard.
Right.
Oh, could you
I
imagine Walter
know.
as some cranky old man?
Oh yeah.
oh yeah. Oh, I mean, what else?
And Dirigible. We saw
Dirigible.
Dirigible.
I
That made
know,
me
isn't
happy.
that awesome?
Yeah. Keep
Yeah.
looking up.
Yeah, keep looking up. That's kind of good. I also liked the interrogation scene with Michael when he's trying to
Oh, with Windmark.
yeah, with Moonmarker
When he
and Michael.
starts bleeding and you're
Yeah.
like,
Well,
heck yeah, Michael.
well, not only that, you hear the feedback loop because he's kind of asking his own questions, coming back at him. And you're like, oh, dude, this is gonna go badly. I expected Windmark's head to do the scanners pop.
yeah. And when the blood vessel burst in his eye, that was a cool effect.
That was a great
And how
effect.
such a great cut they did it. That was obviously digitally put in
Yeah,
there, but
yeah.
still. And
It
then
looked
later on, when it disappears.
When he
I
heals
know
it with
when he
hate.
heals it with
Right?
hate.
Heals it with
was pretty
hate.
cool. Should we try and get some callers in?
Oh, do we
okay.
got
That'd be
callers?
fun.
Let's do it.
I think we got somebody trying to ring in at the moment. Anyway, so while I'm trying to connect this call, did anybody else just get really? I don't know. Was it shocking to see the Statue of Liberty gone?
Yeah.
A little.
Was that
Yeah.
was that
It's a
kind
little
of freaky,
Like
freaky and weird?
kind of as shocking as like when we went to the alternate universe and saw the Twin Towers.
Yeah.
I think
True.
yeah,
Or
that
the
way.
Statue of
kind of
Liberty is
moment.
gold.
Yeah.
Or it was
wow.
gold. Yeah, that's true. That's a much better analogy. Thank you.
Oh, I see.
All
We
right.
have call.
We have
Yeah.
a call, and hey, we got Edmund. How you doing, Edmund? Hello? Can you hear us?
Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Because we can't hear
Can
you.
you hear me now? We can't hear you.
I'm thinking there's technical difficulties.
This
Dang
was
it.
this
Morse
was
code
last
in.
minute thinking of trying to make
It's
this
a great
work.
idea.
So.
Hey, I
It's a
think
great idea, but
Yes,
oh,
there it
hey, there he
goes.
is.
yes, indeed.
Edmund.
I've been hearing you fine. I hope you can hear me now.
Yes,
There
we
you
can.
are. I can hear you fine. How you doing, Edmund?
I'm doing just great. How are you guys after that amazing, mind-bendingly thing we just saw?
Oh,
Oh, we're verklempt.
we're all verklempt. Very, very emotional and very satisfying. We think.
What do you think?
Absolutely. Oh yeah, no. Feeling the same way. I was when I was listening earlier when you were talking about the early season stuff. This has been an amazing journey, and one of the things for me is I did not start up right away, and I've been hearing you guys sort of go in the first season going on about, well, it's kind of slow, but it picks up, and I sort of started about halfway through the first season, was going through those first episodes thinking, what are these guys thinking?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm finding it's great at the beginning, and it's just been, it's just been fabulous all the way through, but... yeah. I mean, I know some people have been a little bit put out by some of the, the shifts and Peter leaving and the changes in tone, but I mean, I've been loving it all the way through, and this was, a finale which really did, pay tribute to all of those things. Watching the last 5 years.
Absolutely. I think the most shocking thing for me is to go back to the first episodes, because I was saying I was watching them on Science Channel, and I actually caught the first 2 episodes, and it just blew me away at how much stuff is in those first 2 episodes that is actually very relevant later on. And it's like, holy crap, from the very first episode, it seems like they knew, or at least had a good idea where the hell they were going with this thing. And followed through all the way. I mean, just incredible writing. You have to give them props for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, and my thing is that even though that first season seemed uneven, like I said, maybe going back and watching it again, it won't maybe seem so uneven, because now like Sam said, we're emotionally invested now in these characters. We know what they're going to become and how they're going to move a bit. So maybe we'll look at it with a less critical eye, like we did when, like, I'm going back and watching BSG again, and BSG flows much better watching it in a big clump than waiting each week for each individual episode.
Right,
Yeah.
because I didn't get into Fringe until you guys were ranting about it, and I think that was probably season 3 or something.
Yeah, 3, I think.
And so I mainlined 1 through 3 in one big haze of a month or something, and season 1 I thought it was amazing and flowed right in with season 2 and 3. So I didn't even notice any sort of unevenness. I loved it.
Were you mainlining them, Edmund?
I was mainlining probably I think it was the first 8 episodes of season 1, and then and then following it week by week from then. But sort of getting that first chunk all at once, it meant I was really kind of immediately picking up on oh no, there's this mystery behind things, and certainly massive dynamics, and Nina coming in, and John Scott, and it meant, I mean, I got completely hooked based on that first half of the season, and then have just kept going since then.
So I think that's the key, right? Like when you evangelize to your friends, and you should evangelize to your friends, folks,
Absolutely.
about getting, because this really needs to be one of those cult successes on DVD things that really lives on forever, and in retrospect should have been more adored. It makes sense to the mainlining is always. it worked better for me for Lost, like on a number of shows,
Oh.
but especially this one, it seems like you can just get right in it, and
Well,
that's
yeah,
the way to do it.
it's like I said, I don't think I would have enjoyed Lost nearly as much if I wouldn't have been actually mainlining seasons at a
know.
time. Because if I had to wait every week for like nothing to
like
happen,
some of us did.
yeah,
I dropped a whole season.
I'd have give up on it.
But Fringe didn't really do that. It
No.
may have started slow in our perception, but like going back and just watching it one after another, then you don't even have the slow start. You're like
Right.
you're like right in.
And I would say even if it started slow, it was still better than other TV shows
Yes.
that were on.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
it's like, I mean, I sit through a lot of crap just because.
So, Edmund, what was your biggest surprise in this finale?
I think it was. I mean, as much as it's been the major theme. I mean, how hard they really emphasized the father-son element.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm expecting it with Peter and Walter, but then bringing in Michael in September there at the end was not something I was expecting. And then to flip it on us again, where he's going to be the one to take him through, and then in the end, no, it is Peter having to watch his dad walk through that portal.
Right.
Was just sort of the final heartstring grabber.
Oh, part of me wanted to go, oh, really? Come on, folks. I've already been kicked enough times in the testicles today.
Well,
my cockles and my heart are hurting, okay?
I'm with Sam, though. I think they telegraphed that fairly well because they pretty much gave that up with Michael and how he looked at Walter, and there was that connection there.
Yeah.
And even Walter even said, we've got the connection because we're going to go through. And so that kind of lets you know that the kid knew that it was going to be Walter to take him through in the end.
And that's the genius of the writing, because they tell you ahead of time what they're going to do. You know where it's going to end up, but yet it is still draws you in. It's still suspenseful. It's still something worth spending your time on. And then for me, that was a really iconic image of that portal and the two shadows of Walter and Michael walking into
Just
it.
like with him and Peter.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes,
yes, right. That's
exactly.
a throwback to that, and that's where I got all a little misty.
Mine was my really was when Peter and Walter are looking at each other, and Peter's like, what? And he tells him, he's like, I love you, son.
Yeah.
And then Peter says, I love you too, Dad. And you haven't really heard those things. Those are the touching moments. Again, like when Peter and Olivia look at each other, and Peter says, I love you, and she says, I love you too back. And it's the first time you really hear it from them, right to each
Right.
other, and they kiss each other, and you're like, and Walter, of course, hugs Peter in his scene, and you're just like, that's where you get that there's this strong connection between these characters that no matter what happens, that they will be together one way or another in thoughts, memories, and that sort of thing.
Right.
And they just did such a fantastic job with it too. Like I said, when I was there, I was on the couch giddy as a schoolgirl when Peter tells Olivia he loves her, and she says, I love you back.
I
I
know.
was like,
Yes. And you'd think we were watching a CW show
Yeah.
with all the shipping going on.
I know, no joke. Well, I mean, what can I say? I'm a big softie. And,
I loved it too.
Yeah,
I
know.
was really wanting them to work it out. I was a little traumatized this season when they were on the outs as it started, right? Like when we learned kind of all that what happened about Etta, and that was understandable. Oh my God, so many relationships do not survive the loss of a child. It was painful to see them do that, but it was so wonderful to see them.
And it harkens back to Walter and his wife's relationship
Yeah.
after losing
Yeah.
Peter. There's all sorts of allegories
right?
for the other things that have happened. So
Holy crap.
yeah, holy crap. Now I'm gonna have to go watch the whole thing again.
So smart.
Yeah,
I know. I'm just so sad it's over.
Yeah, Edmund, what are we gonna do now?
Now
Edmund?
what are we gonna do?
Yeah, what are we gonna watch now?
We're going to read a bunch of Fringe fan fiction.
I don't know. I don't know. That's a good question. Edmund, what are you gonna watch now to fill that Fringe hole?
Arrow and Continuum.
Yeah, there you go. That's
Okay.
There you go.
And Hopes for Defiance.
But-
right?
Oh, that looks good.
Yeah, but it's not going to be the same though, because what you guys were just talking about. I mean, what really set this show apart was, I mean, yes, there was the off-the-wall elements, there was the X-Files elements, the sci-fi elements, but when it came right down to it, it was about the character, it was about those relationships, and that's what really hooked us in, and really made us care, and really made it human, just to bring us back to the main.
yeah,
But,
yeah, that's true.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's absolutely right. Wow.
Yeah. Moment of silence for Fringe.
Yeah, it's over. Wow.
But what a fantastic ride.
It was.
They really, I was thinking earlier about so many final episodes where I really wanted to love it and I only kind of liked it. It wasn't bad, or I wanted to love it and it was bad, like or I, you know what I mean? And this is the one finale I can think of in I don't know, a long time, maybe since MASH, that I just unapologetically, unabashedly adore.
Yeah, because I mean, think about the BSG finale, and
Yeah.
we were in here like, oh, what the hell was that?
And Lost. Those are the two
Lost
classic
and
examples.
Lost. It's like,
Flippin'
what in
Lost.
the hell was this? What?
But then think about like Chuck, which I enjoyed, but people were
For
up
me,
and
I
down
was-
with.
yeah.
I couldn't just 100% love it and defend it. Like I feel like I can this one, right? So it's a
Yeah.
rarity where where a show has such a good run and such consistent level of quality with just a few dips here and there, and such a strong finish.
Yeah.
That's true.
I'm
trying to think of any. But
Right, get into our feedback show, guys, and tell us maybe a series finale that was fantastic that we're not thinking of.
Yeah,
like Eureka, I think was pretty good, but I still don't think Eureka was as strong as this.
I'm
No,
going
not
through.
as
It wasn't
strong
as
Fringe.
emotional.
I'm going through Stargate. Stargate was horrible.
Really over. Now I don't want to say it overstated its welcome, but it got really
Yeah,
far from where it was,
Yeah.
so that it was, and then the whole cast change. It's kind of hard to see it as the same show.
Freaking recap show. They did a
That's
recap
true.
show ending for it. It was horrible.
That was a
And
little
then-
offensive.
Yeah, and then I was gonna say Buffy, but Buffy, it's not the same quality as Fringe, first of all, and it really had some moments where you're like, oh,
well, yeah, Buffy
actually, Buffy
ended pretty damn good. When you
No, the
blow up
ending
the
was
entire
awesome.
freaking town and leave it as a
Angel
steaming
also.
hole.
Angel did a pretty good
Angel
job.
had a good one.
so-
Angel had a good
I
one.
liked the Buffy and Angel ones. I would say put them better than Chuck, but I would say not as good as Fringe.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Not like emotionally as good as Fringe. Action-wise, though,
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
very satisfied
Action
with
was
Buffy,
good.
and
yeah.
I don't. Maybe I just wanted more action on Fringe. I wanted more Olivia, but I could have used more action on Fringe. But I'm emotionally satisfied from
Yeah.
Fringe.
Edmund, do you have any other favorite finales?
Well, if you're going to talk about blowing things up, of course, I have to mention Sleeping in Light from Babylon 5.
yeah.
Oh, that's a very good one.
That was a very good one.
That's pretty emotionally satisfying.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. That's the one I always cry to. I'm not afraid to admit. So.
Yeah. Especially, it's Straczynski turning off the lights there. At
Yeah,
the end.
pretty much that,
That helps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Have we talked this one out?
I think we'll probably process and think of things later.
Yeah,
Maybe I
it's
think
too
we
fresh.
may go back to this in some future feedback episodes, and we want to know what you guys think, right? So
Yeah.
Right. Any
videos and
any
voicemails.
final thoughts, Edmund?
No, it's just it was a wonderful run, and thank God we have the DVD sets to go back and
Am-
Yeah, absolutely.
Amen.
I think I'm gonna miss Anna Torv's face on my television screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just always there, and now it's not gonna be there.
It's okay. You can put her as your background on your computer.
That's right. I've got her as desktop.
I don't know if it's the same.
I know it's not, but that's okay.
That's
Megan.
all right.
Well, Edmund, thanks for joining us.
Indeed.
oh, my pleasure. Thank you, guys.
All right. Well, I think it kind of wraps it up, Michael.
I
And
think so too.
Why don't you throw out the numbers for people to call for listener feedback?
Absolutely. That number is 206-339-TREK. That's 206-339-8735. And definitely, I'm sure we're going to get a lot of calls on this.
Feel free to send us video of your cry face via the iPhone app.
There you
As
go.
Jenna Maroney would say, you're drunk in the bathtub face.
Whatever your reaction
Yeah,
was,
whatever.
like just video it in the
Yeah.
app and send it on in. We'd love to see.
Absolutely. So.
All right.
Well, thanks for joining us for this special edition, and we'll have more regular show and your comments coming up very soon. So thanks, everyone. Bye.